What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of DevTalks with your host, Travian. And it's been a crazy week. It's been a crazy week. We got a lot to talk about and a lot to go over. One of the things that happened recently, we missed the event. We missed the keynote for NVIDIA. So we're going to have to do a little watch through of that. So an extra bonus video and watch with me is likely to come out this week, if not early next week. Depending on when I can watch the whole thing. Hopefully I can watch it tomorrow and get it out this weekend. But bonus episode or bonus video coming out. If not this weekend, it will be out next week instead because people be busy. But yeah, welcome back. And I hope everybody had a great week. We're gonna dive into more of all the fun stuff and all the news that's been coming out regarding AI and technology these past week that we possibly missed and trying to catch up on. So let's just dive into it and just get right to it. All right, so what to start with first? Since I brought up us missing the NVIDIA event yesterday, we're going to dive into AI first this episode. And what better way to start off talking about AI with talking about Gemini? So there's been some advancements. It says Gemini 1.5, so it means it's an update. And I'm actually confused. Why are all the AI companies updating their AI systems by halves? So like ChatGPT, they had ChatGPT 3, they had 3.5, and they have 4. Gemini did Gemini, and then now they're on 1.5. Why they going by halves? Why they going by 0.5s? I'm actually curious why they doing that. But before we get all up into the weeds of stuff and get off topic, let's dive into Gemini. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Help out with the algorithm. Appreciate all of you guys so much. And don't forget to share. But let's see.
Google has just dropped a bombshell on us with the release of Gemini 1.5, the latest prodigy in their family of Gemini models, and they're already showing off the goods that can beat OpenAI's latest ChatGPT 4, and here's why. To simplify, a GPT's processing power is measured in tokens, with one token having the ability to process one unit or one request at a time. GPT-4 can process up to 128,000 tokens at a time, but with the newest Gemini 1.5, it's
all this moving is giving me a headache. I'm sorry.
rated to process a staggering
Yo, they went from how up to 10 million in research. How did they go from in 1.0, they went from 32K. ChatGPT is 128K. I didn't even know Claude was that sufficient. I didn't know Claude was up there at 200K. But they're saying Gemini 1.5 is going to be 1.5. I mean, not 1.5. It's going to be 1 million. 1 million. 1. How you going 10x? I mean, not 10x them. That's more like 5. Yeah, almost. But how do you make this much of a difference in a span? That this jump seems very extreme. And what this jump is going to do for the ChatGPT, for GPT-4's next update and Claude's next update, the whole processing and everything and how many tokens it can have is going to have to be increased. Let's just go back and make sure we understanding this the right way. Let's go back.
with one token having the ability to process one unit or one request at a time. GPT-4 can process up to 128,000 tokens at a time, but with the newest Gemini 1...
Yeah, so they went from being able to only process 32,000 requests to 1 million requests How? Literally how? I'm wondering how that they did that. Because now the other AI requests are gonna have to go up a bunch. We're 30 seconds into this, mind you. That's kind of scary. It makes you wonder what they're really going to talk about in this.
1.5, it's rated to process a staggering 1 million tokens. And for context, this means that it can process 1 hour of video, 11 hours of audio, 30,000 lines of code, and 700,000 words, all in just one go, making the system potentially much faster than ChatGPT 4. And they tell us that all of this can be done while maintaining a processing accuracy rate that hovers at the 99 to 100% mark. But what they're most proud of is that Gemini can elevate the multimodal technology as opposed to basic large language models we have right now, from deep content analysis to solving complex coding challenges. So where does this titan of technology fit into the grand scheme of things? And more importantly, what can it do that's got everybody sitting up and taking notes? Well, that's exactly what we're going to find out here today. By the end of this video, you'll be as astonished as we were how good this model really is. Now, for those of you who have been following the evolution of AI, you're probably familiar with Google Gemini's lineup. Gemini 1.5, the newest member of Google's AI family, has made an entrance that's nothing short of spectacular. This AI giant has been in.
Another thing that we have to take in consideration, this said it can process up to 1 hour of video. ChatGPT, OpenAI Sora, is outputting 1 minute videos. Or that's what it was doing. That is wild. That is literally almost insane. Like, I'm really expecting how much these other companies process to skyrocket like this, unless Google figured something out. Unless they found something out. If this is true, they found a secret to something pretty quickly. Or these other companies are just holding on to it. And I was just saying in another video how Sora was going to change like the whole industry when it comes to making videos and people, animators, and all this other stuff. How it was going to just change the world and people can just make their own TV shows off of AI alone. And it might come sooner than we thought if they're moving at this kind of pace.
Engineered to tackle an astonishing array of content. Imagine feeding the model a feature-length film, a day's worth of podcasts, or a series of novels. And not only does it grasp the content, but it also delivers insights with nearly flawless accuracy. We're talking about processing 3 hours of video, 22 hours of audio, and 7 million words. Or to put it another way, 10 million tokens of information processed in a single request. And the best thing is, its accuracy that it's virtually unparalleled right now, hovering at the 99 to 100% mark. But how does Gemini 1.5 stack up against its predecessors? Let's break it down. When we look at the Gemini family tree, it's clear that each model has its own domain of expertise. On the one end, we have Gemini Ultra, the heavyweight champion designed for the most complex of tasks. This brainiac can solve the toughest quantum physics problems before it eats breakfast in the morning. Then, in the middle, we have the Gemini Pro series, including our star today, which is Gemini 1.5, along with the older Gemini 1.0. These models are like the workhorse.
I'm sorry. The moving of the screen is literally messing me up. Every time it just twists and stuff, like I'm trying to read what is behind there. I'm literally trying to read what is behind the screen, what's going on. I'm trying to see like all the details and things. And I might have to look at another video furthering the details because this is crazy and insane.
Adept at handling larger and more tedious tasks that require broader context. What sets Gemini 1.5 apart is its unparalleled ability to process and analyze extensive multimedia content. It outperforms the Gemini Pro 1.0 across the board in text, vision, and audio, and it's not just about quantity. And when we compare it to the behemoth that is Gemini Ultra, Gemini 1.5 holds its own, making it a versatile choice for a wide range of applications, from content analysis to creative problem solving. So starting with the video, Gemini 1.5 can analyze the equivalence of 3 full-length movies back to back, extracting and understanding every scene, dialogue, and even subtle details. And this is a huge stride for filmmakers, educators, and content creators. On the audio front, this model listens to and comprehends nearly a day's worth of audio without breaking a sweat. So podcasts, lectures, music, you name it. Gemini 1.5 can decipher the content with astonishing precision. When it comes to text, the sheer volume of 7 million words Gemini 1.5 can process is equivalent to reading and understanding about 70 novels in one go. This capability opens up new frontiers for researchers, scholars, and anyone drowning in the sea of documents. Now, let's bring these numbers to life with some real-world examples. Take the Apollo.
That is actually good. This is one of the part that he was talking about, like the words for like being under a bunch of documents. These AI tools can be very helpful to society if used the right way. And I try to stress this so much because a lot of people think about the negative stuff that can possibly happen with AI and how scary it can be, but there are a lot of positives to actually using AI in the world. Like lawyers, you know how much documents they get thrown at them and stuff. If they're able to use a tool that can siphon through it, summarize it for them the right way, help them learn, help them study. You can use this in schools to help you study through books, get to the points of them, retain more knowledge, learn more knowledge, because you know how much time it takes to actually read information and things like that. It takes a lot of time to actually go through and read all these books and whatnot. So I say that just because there are a lot of use cases and things that AI is going to be able to help out with and develop further into the future and save us so much more time on our hands so that we can be more efficient. That if it just needs to be used the right way. Just needs to be used the right way.
11 transcript, a document that is 432 pages long. Gemini 1.5 not only reads it, but also comprehends the intricate details, extracting humorous moments with the precisions of a seasoned historian. And it doesn't just stop at text. This model's prowess extends to coding frameworks, like the 3JS coding systems. We're talking about analyzing and understanding over 800,000 tokens of complex code, making it an invaluable tool for developers tackling projects that require coding. In essence, Gemini 1.5's primary ability is not just limited to processing data, but to having a deeper understanding of it. Now, in the race to be the smartest AI, Google claims that Gemini 1.5 is setting new records miles ahead of ChatGPT 4. But how exactly are they any different? Well, first up, let's talk about the versatility. Gemini 1.5 is like a multi-talented artist, juggling text, images, audio, and video with ease. It's designed to understand and integrate a variety of data types, making it a jack of all trades. ChatGPT 4, on the other hand, is a master wordsmith, specializing in generating human-like text based on the prompts that it receives. From writing essays to crafting jokes, ChatGPT 4 has a way of words that is really hard to match. But it's not just about processing massive quantities of data. The accuracy with which Gemini 1.5 operates is astounding, maintaining near-perfect precision in its interpretations and responses. So in this head-to-head battle, while ChatGPT 4 continues to impress with its textual intelligence, Gemini 1.5 emerges as a more versatile and powerful contender, pushing the potential of what AI can achieve across multiple domains. It's clear that we're standing on the brink of a new era of artificial intelligence here. Gemini 1.5 is a testament to this advancement, and honestly, we're not complaining. Gemini 1.5 demonstrated why it's on a league of its own, setting new standards on how it can be applied across various domains, from scientific research to creative endeavors, and everything in between. So let me ask you this, with all of these AI feats, how do you envision these technologies affecting your life? If you enjoyed this video, please...
That's insane. That is insane. I had no clue how potentially powerful this stuff is getting. It's really in a more alarming rate than expected. I was not expecting anywhere near I wasn't expecting anywhere near the level of advancement that quickly. Like Sora literally just got released, and everybody's thoughts about that, they were just, it literally just came out. Like it just came out and they were talking about how great it is, what it can do. People are testing prompts and all the that with it. And now Gemini is taking steps further. And it actually is looking like more of a better, efficient tool to get certain work done. Mind you, there were some problems where Gemini recently got paused on their image generation things, and the same thing with Copilot had the same issues because of how it was generating certain images, and they paused that to fix. But it is definitely looking like a more useful tool to be more productive, especially at the rate that it can go now, where it just said the million tokens, so a million tasks per request. It's nice. It's nice. But, you know, our world revolves around AI right now. That's literally the life that we're living at this current moment. And last week we went over Figure AI developing a robot and OpenAI being somewhat of a investor in it, a small investor, but there are so many more bigger investors that are going on with this actual specific company. The only thing is, gotta pay attention to this. Only thing is, now they're saying OpenAI is helping them a lot more than just that little investment. What could that more be? I guess we're gonna learn from BBC. We don't really interact much with BBC. I haven't pulled them up, but definitely want to get viewpoints from different places and see what the takes are, and might be able to learn some new from it. So before we dive in, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's see what this is about.
Watching the context, it's time for our newly minted segment, AI Decoded.
The news has specific segments for AI now. That is insane.
Welcome to AI Decoded. It's the time of the week when we dig deep into some of the most eye-catching stories in the world of artificial intelligence. We begin this week with this story from Tech Radar, stunning achievement in humanoid robotic development. OpenAI and the startup robotics firm Figure AI have released a video this week demonstrating the real sci-fi capabilities of a new visual language model, and we'll be showing you a clip of that in just a minute's time. The Medical Express details how AI is being used now to detect heart defects in newborns. The model they have developed gives the correct diagnosis in 80 to 90% of cases. Fortune says artificial intelligence is supercharging the threat of election disinformation worldwide, making it easy for anyone, even with a smartphone, to create artificial intelligence. Let's take a look.
Awkward pause.
I see a red apple on a plate in the center of the table, a drying rack with cups and a plate, and you standing nearby with your hand on the table.
Great. Can I have something to eat?
Sure thing.
Great. Can you explain why you did what you just did while you pick up this trash?
On it. So I gave you the apple because it's the only edible item I could provide you with from the table.
Great. So, based on the scene right now, where do you think the dishes in front of you go next?
The dishes on the table, like that plate and cup, are likely to go into the drying rack next.
Great. Can you put them there?
Of course.
Okay. Almost speechless because of how crazy this is. We are a lot further than I thought we would be at this time overall for AI and even the robots and stuff. I just saw the news thing talking about all of their investments into this company figure that's developing these humanoid robots. And all these other companies are trying to develop some robots. I know Musk is trying to, I believe, with Teslas, and that seems almost too real. It's still taking some time to process the tasks, mind you. You can ask, like, when he was telling him, where do you think this stuff's gonna go? It's actually putting real thought into the scenarios, and it's really thinking about what to do with this stuff. And it's enlightening, it's dope, but it's also very scary because it has to be managed the right way, and I feel like you have to ask it the right questions too. This is software that can easily be abused. We see it in movies all the time on how this can become a downfall. Uh, but there just has to be so much extra security around the developments for all of this kind of technology and what's going on further. I do want to see what he has to say about that, but it it was it was it was cool to see, but in a chilling way. I don't know how to explain it the best way. That's the best way I feel like I can explain it at this moment in time.
It's remarkable, isn't it? I mean, everything that I've been shown so far in the world of AI, the avatars that I've seen, which are on screen, they're instructed by text. The difference with this is that it's seeing, it's tasting, it's feeling its environment, and that is.
It ain't taste. It did not taste. If robots can start to taste stuff, I'd definitely be suspect. Like, why are you lying to me? Imagine saying, does this cook and taste good? And they say yes. How do you know that? It doesn't have, the only sense that it has is sight. What I seen from that video and what I just know. So, gotta be careful there. That wording is definitely off. But it does know what is edible. And if it knows what's edible, it also means what is not edible. And as I said, things can be abused and go the wrong way, but it's just something that we have to be very careful with and very secure with.
It's what blows my mind.
Yeah. I thought it was fascinating that the voice even has, because it's obviously a fake voice, probably taken from real voice samples and maybe even melded together, but it had vocal fry. So I often have vocal fry because I've got asthma and I have to cough a lot, and so you'll hear it in my voice. It's not a pure tone. It sounds a little bit hoarse. They've even put vocal fry in to make it sound like a real human. That's crazy.
I was saying last week to Priya that one of the things somebody has said to me who's interacted with one of these models is that they feel empathy. And that's why they feel empathy, because actually the voice is colloquial.
Right.
And as you say, it feels real. There's a slight pause, there's a drag, isn't there, as it processes. But as that gets quicker, it's going to be the sort of thing that some people would prefer to hang out with.
Yeah, and there's an ethical question in the way that we've even designed this robot. Like, it's a
Would you guys hang out with an AI robot? Yes or no? Let me know in the comments. I'll know if you watched this video, if you told me in the comments that you would hang out with a robot, an AI robot, and it would be your best friend. Let me know if you would do it. Let me know. Because this is getting way too real now.
choice to try to make it look and sound and feel human. that doesn't have to be that way. We could actually design robots to be really explicitly not human, other. So why they've taken someone's voice, and even I was listening, the accent and the grammar is very specific to the United States West Coast. So he says, "Can I have something to eat?" And then somebody goes, "On it." Right? This is a very American way of speaking that wouldn't necessarily translate globally. So I'm sure what you could do is say, I want it to speak with a French accent, or I want it to speak in Mandarin, and do exactly that thing to make you feel a connection to it. All of that is actually really manipulative as well.
This is called artificial general intelligence. Just to explain the technicals to people, normally we're talking text to speech.
Yeah.
This is speech to speech.
Yeah.
So it, as well as seeing its environment, it is able to process, a bit like Alexa in our kitchens at the moment. It's able to process what you're saying to it.
Yes. I mean, I was noticing, even as we were just watching that again, these are quite long pauses between the human interrogator and the robot. And also the human is giving really clear, short, specific instructions. So is that going to work very well in a real world context where if people are asking a robot to do something and it doesn't do it, just like human beings sometimes ask questions in a way that's not very clear and we have to repeat ourselves, we get angry at each other, frustrated, kick the robot. How's that going to work? So this is great, and the potential for it is clearly there. You can imagine what this would mean if we got these robots truly up and running with very minimal lag time. Could they be rolled out to start replacing humans in all sorts of jobs?
Yeah. But of course, to just take that on a peg, obviously the database is growing. It's also, it will write and rewrite its own code. So as it makes mistakes, it will learn and it will develop, and its language patterns will grow and evolve.
Yeah, that's the thing, is it almost reminds me in a weird way of how children learn language and they're studying from everybody around it. It's learning from us, as ever, as with all machines.
Yeah. 30 years from now, when I'm a pensioner, it's going to be putting me to bed, isn't it? I just know it. I can already see it. Maybe that's the solution to our, social care problems. I don't know. Talking.
Yeah. So that is insane. This is like, I remember growing up and watching iRobot when I was younger, and just like, yeah, this will happen sometime in the future and things. But now it's like we're living in it. It's funny, those movies always be like stuff's gonna happen sooner than what it really did. But now we're actually at the cusp of being in that kind of light and having that kind of life in general. Like we are literally right there. Literally right there. And they're even talking about it can even take jobs eventually in the future. Yeah. You tell that thing what to do, your job's gone. All it needs are people there to tell it what to do. And it would work 8 hours with no problems, no question to ask. Like even seeing watching iRobot, I remember the scenes. I would pull up the scenes if they wasn't copyrighted. They have scenes where like the robots are cooking in the kitchen and things like that and handling all different types of tasks. It's just, I'm not getting one. As much as I love tech, I'm not getting one unless I have full control over its code and all of that stuff, its database, the AI. If I don't have control over it, I don't think I could do it. I do not think I could do it. For sure. No. But it is definitely something that's worrisome that's going to happen in a very, very short time. And it's going to come out very quickly. And that's wild. And it's definitely going to be able to replace a lot of people, especially in the working area. And that actually leads us up into our next topic with Mark Cuban.
Amount of change
did this speech. I believe this is quite old. This is a quite old talk from him and things, but I've seen it getting a lot more popular recently about how AI is going to be affecting people's jobs in the future and his take around it. So before we dive in, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share for the algorithm. I really appreciate it. It helps a lot. Let's see what Mark has to say and give our thoughts based off of this added information.
we're going to see over the next 5 years, 10 years, will dwarf everything that's happened over the last 30. We went from automating pen and paper, right, with spreadsheets, to connecting PCs into local area networks to,
connecting them,
connecting people
to each
locally, right, to connecting networks to get the internet, to getting the network effect of communicating people globally. But now we're introducing artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, neural networks, et cetera. So, and what that enables is the automation of automation, right? And so the people who were writing software, particularly at the lower end, unless you're doing these advanced things, they're gone. Right? The people that
because the software's writing itself,
it's doing itself, right? It's just math. Programmer back in the day. So when I was writing code, it was the algorithms were if this then that,
right?
X or whatever it may be, right? But you had to guess, right? You had to use your best instance, and then it got smarter and smarter and smarter, and libraries to do bigger and better things. All that is being automated. And so now you have to know how to use that stuff. So either software works for you, or you work for software, and once the software takes over, you're gone. Right? So unless you understand that, you don't understand that the nature of work is changing, the nature of employment is going to change, and from a business, from a stock perspective. If you're in the Fortune 500, if you're an S&P 500 company, if you're in the Dow 30, right? If you're one of the bigger companies, you already know this. And in talking to a lot of these big companies, they know their workforces, and given the supply and demand of stocks, the supply is shrinking, and the demand is going up just as the economy grows. That's probably good news for stocks over the long term, but it's bad news for employment, and it's bad news for people who are disrupted.
Well, and that's part of the thing, right? Is that there's a time when GM was the largest employer, and the companies like GM was what employment looked like. If Facebook's what it looks like, the revenue per employee at Facebook is infinitely larger than any automaker could ever make or any manufacturer could make.
The difference is the time lag, right? The timeline. So what took 20 years before and then became 10 could be 5 or 3. And so when you start getting...
I want to stop right there, specifically right there, because today we just did a thing about Gemini. They released the whole Gemini stuff and rebranded to be Gemini earlier this year. Talking about Google, I believe that's who has Gemini. They are on 1.5, and how much they managed to scale in a few months, their AI platform is insane. And he's right. He's just talking about what took 20 years, took this amount of time. What took 10 years is taking half as less time. And it just the timelines keep getting cut in half consistently. And it can be worrisome, even for engineers. You have to be able to use these products, of course, in the right proper ways and learn how to use them the right ways. But literally, he's right. We just watched Figure's robot and how it's working with AI. It's going to be able to produce and use people's jobs. We've seen Amazon implement robots into their systems to boost efficiency and things and not need any human workers. So then you question yourself and ask, what will humans be doing then? If robotics replaces many jobs and positions, what will humans be left to do? What would you do? How would you be living? What would life look like? And I don't think many people are really sitting there asking themselves this question or preparing for this question. What are you going to go into? What are you going to come up with? I don't think the right questions are being asked. And I definitely don't think not all the right people are in control of where we're going in the future as far as making sure it's done the right way. Because these questions aren't being asked. I feel like you have to know where you're going before you just keep going full speed ahead at it and heads down working on it. You have to know where you're going to stop at, you have to have this planned out the right way. You can't move too quickly. I get all these companies want to move so fast into AI and things, but it has to be done the right way. If it's not done the right way and you move too fast, there's going to become problems and trouble. We just seen Gemini just had an instance with the photos and Copilot where they were generating the wrong images and things like that. That's because the company is moving too fast. Fast is not the answer. As fast, yes, I know you want to get it done in a certain amount of time. You have to make a certain amount of money. You have to reach your goals and things like that. You have to do things the right and correct way, rather than do it fast and incorrectly, because it's going to mess things up in the future. It's going to. People need to realize that. They really do got to realize that.
Getting that massive amount of disruption in employment, what do? The whole nature of employment is going to change. There aren't manufacturing jobs coming back. There aren't more coal mining jobs coming back. No matter what you do to the EPA, they are going to be, a lot of these jobs are going to be gone. Now, there's still physical things. If you do infrastructure, you can kind of, buy some time, right? Spend more, get temporary jobs to build roads, build bridges, which is all fine and good, right? I think you can get a return on much of those things. But you're going to have to recognize that there are going to be more people out of work. So,
through this innovation.
Yeah.
So essentially what you make the case for is education and job training for grown-ups.
No.
No?
No, I think that won't matter, right? What are you going to go back and learn to do?
What it takes, right? I mean, whether it's finance, whether it's software programming.
Finance, that's the easiest thing. You just take the data and have it spit out whatever you need. Right? I personally think there's going to be a greater demand in 10 years for liberal arts majors than there were for programming majors and maybe even engineering, because when the data is all being spit out for you, options are being spit out for you, you need a different perspective in order to have a different view of the data. And so having somebody who's more of a freer thinker, and because if automation is being automated, you just learn the tax rules. You just feed the automation the tax rules, and it does the rest for you.
So English majors of the world should celebrate?
I think English, philosophy, foreign language majors, maybe not now, they're going to starve for a while, but that's not even the real issue, right? The real issue is if 1 million.
I don't think they, I can get to a point to where he's saying, hey, they will be the ones that will see more use of going to the school to be able to learn and study under these different majors that aren't relevant right now. But those jobs don't pay. And I guess having a job that doesn't pay well is better than not having a job at all, of course. But at the same time, I feel like he's wrong in an instance, because there's going to be a hierarchy where these engineers and everybody are going to go to advance these products and stuff like that, and be the ones to be more technical with the use cases around all of these products. That's just how it's going to be. Literally. That's literally how it's going to go. It's not like they're going to have no use for us and stuff. We're going to find different uses and things, and these technological advancements are always going to have problems. So if you just be like, oh, the AI is going to just engineer itself, that's not true, because it's going to run into problems, and you're going to need engineers to fix these problems in the future as time goes on. If you let it run by itself, it becomes even more dangerous, and then it leaves a potential of becoming more lazy as well too, as a society. I would take
2 million.
I would take that kind of with a grain of salt of what he means.
3 million, 5 million people have their jobs disrupted. And we see the direction everything is going and how quickly it's going. What are you going to do with them?
But yeah, I definitely agree with the part of what are you going to do with a lot of people, especially if they don't have a job anymore. Like literally, if you don't have the job to be able to grow further or figure out what you're doing in life in your career, then it's gonna cause a bunch of issues. as far as you go. Like, if unemployment will be insane. I think 2% unemployment is bad. Imagine 40% of your population being unemployed because they don't need you to do them anymore. That is literally one of the most scariest, insane things that's going to happen one day in the future, if it's not managed the right way. Well, even if it is managed the right way, a lot of people are still getting laid off or fired and just going to be unemployed in general because your job just isn't needed anymore. And then that also leads, if your job's going to be safe for AI the next 5 years, maybe your job will be safe for a lot longer, possibly, because they need somebody to maintain and like tame these language models. It's scary. It is definitely scary. And what is even crazier, he was just talking about engineers losing their job. Guess what else got people wondering that engineers are going to lose their job? Devin. Devin is a AI that's a software engineer. And I've seen a lot of engineers trip about this and things. And I'm going to try to get more information around it so I can do a whole separate video on a private personal channel, because I feel like it would actually be interesting to do it. But let's just see what Devin is. I seen this last week. I'm gonna go over it this week, and let's see what Devin can do real quick.
Hey, I'm Scott from Cognition AI, and today I'm really excited to introduce you to Devin, the first AI
Human software engineer, AI software engineer. So he had to make sure that he's human. Now, we live in a time where we have to specify if we're human or not. Imagine that. That's insane. We have to specify if we're human or AI. That is wild.
Excited to introduce you to Devin, the first AI software engineer. Let me show you an example of Devin in action. I'm going to ask Devin to benchmark the performance of Llama on a couple different API providers. From now on, Devin is in the driver's seat. First, Devin makes a step-by-step plan of how to tackle the problem. After that, it builds the whole project using all the same tools that a human software engineer would use. Devin has its own command line, its own code editor, and even its own browser. In this case, Devin decides to use the browser to pull up API documentation so that it can read up and learn how to plug into each of these APIs. Here, Devin runs into an unexpected error. Devin actually decides to add a debugging print statement. Reruns the code with the debugging print statement, and then uses the error in the logs to figure out how to fix the bug. Finally, Devin decides to build and deploy a website with full styling as the visualization. You can see the website here. All of this is possible today because of the advancements that we've made in both reasoning and long-term planning. It's a really hard problem, and we've only just started, but we're super excited about the progress that we've made so far.
Wait. Validate on a random 20. Devin's results are unassisted, whereas all other models are assisted, meaning the model was told exactly which files to be added and edited. So Devin ain't that great yet. I mean, it's still crazy. Like, you can see in here and on the side thing, he said Devin's unassisted, but he is constantly giving messages back to Devin. Like, Devin is outputting information to him in the message box, and he's constantly talking back and forth with Devin here. So I don't know how much that means of it being unassisted and things, but when it's saying that these other places are all assisted, blah, 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 This is how the percentages that they can complete for all of it. Notice Gemini is not up here. Gemini's not up here. They don't care about Gemini, I guess. Gemini 1.5 just came out. So you need to redo this statistics with Gemini 1.5 because they are apparently computing a lot more in general over their competitors right now. So I wouldn't say this is the best test case. I mean, it's not fully current based on everything that's came out, but that's the problem. These technologies are just getting updated way quicker than anything. They're just getting updated so fast, can't even get a grasp on it anymore, and it's pretty much almost out of control. But if this isn't saying 100%, we gonna have jobs for a little while as engineers. I mean, it is definitely a big progress. It's nothing to be too scared about, I think. But the one thing that I know that a bunch of engineers are worried about is their actual jobs and if they're going to have them. As of right now, I would say you're fine. This is still early states, as we can see. I don't think we have to be worried. And another thing is that engineer, Scott, is a very technical person using this. These aren't average people with no engineering background, no technical backgrounds using these AI systems in this way. They're just not. So you're still going to need a technical person to review all of this stuff. And putting 100% of your faith in AI is insane. No matter if it matches up 99% to 100, you still need to review it. What are you going to let another AI thing review the AI? I really think it baffles me that to even have that thought inside of your head. We don't even trust ourselves 100%. We get reviews at work. Like, you still can break something. But no, it's just not happening. You need to be a technical person for this stuff to be able to live with it. And that's just what I think it is. That's just what I'm thinking. That's what my thoughts on it. I'm not worried about my software engineering job right now. I am worried about my career as a whole because I always wanted to go and do the best and learn more and things around that grasp. And I'm still learning stuff because I'm fresh into my career. I only got out of college not too long ago. It's just the seriousness around it. But we are advancing at a very fast pace. And there's a lot of different things that need to get done that we're working on. And engineers, Mark Cuban can think engineers are going to go away. They're going to be more important than ever. They're not going to. I would talk to the man myself on my thoughts, and we can go for it. I do agree that not as many people are going to be needed, though. I can definitely agree on that. Pretty soon we'll be watching our favorite athletes. They won't even be athletes anymore. They'll be robots shooting full court shots like it's casual. That's literally what we're going to watch. We're going to watch robotic sports. It's going to be like Real Steel. Is that the movie with the robots boxing and things and then humans are betting against them, fighting and stuff? That's what it's going to be like. Our movies around robotics are going to come true. All technology we see in movies is going to happen because that's just the first thought. And it's all going to grow. And it's going to constantly just increase as the world that we know it and things. But that's just how it is. It's funny because I believe some people are really worried about this, but I don't think everybody else is too worried. Somebody in the comments said that bro is sitting on a couch engineering his own layoff as well as ours. Like that, and he's happy about it. He's not even, what is he, the CEO? He might be the CEO though. Yeah, he's the CEO of the company. So if he's CEO of the Devin, then yeah, I wonder if Devin stands for something. They didn't say Devin stood for anything entirely. There's a blog about him. Oh gosh. Yeah, they're giving Devin a bunch of stuff to work on. But yeah, he's definitely engineering some people's layoffs. I could definitely say that. Like as I try to warn people, like front end engineers and stuff like that, they're not gonna do too good in this. I feel like you have to be very specific on the type of software engineer you want to become, because some engineering jobs are going to be taken away. And just real quick, one last thing, like these are all the different projects that they've given Devin to work on so far. So they even got jobs too. Or yeah, they got jobs too available. But $21 million raised. Say man, this future stuff is gonna be wild. It is going to be insane how this may turn out. Wow. I am stunned. Like we literally did a whole episode today and not one topic was about something that wasn't AI. And this is all new news. This is all new stuff that has been released. It's every single one was about AI and they all relevant to people's jobs. We all losing. AI is the biggest thing that is going to impact our work as we go. I'm really curious about how this is going to change stuff. I wonder, I might try to get an interview with him. I just thought of the best idea. Oh my gosh. That is it for today's episode, guys. Hope you guys liked it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. It helps out the algorithm. Please share too. I feel it's very important. I want to be able to talk to more people, more like-minded people in the comments. I love reaching out to you guys, having deeper conversations around certain topics and things like that. See you next week, or see you at that NVIDIA event overview where I'll be able to give my thoughts and learnings about all that. I might just do that as a full episode for next week. It is going to be long. It was a 2-hour event. 2 hours. So we will see if we can get through it as best as possible and find the time to really go through it. Because if I'm giving my opinions on a 2-hour event, it's going to be a 3-hour video. I'm expecting it to be. So just hope you have a great week. Don't forget to comment, subscribe, all that. See y'all next week. Peace.